Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing our Colourpop series. I am going to be doing a demo review swatches on the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I've already done a review on the In Nude Endo highlighting palette and also the Give It To Me Straight eyeshadow palette. So if you want to see or hear a little bit more about those two palettes, I'll leave a link up in the card and also down below so you can check those ones out. But this is going to be the third little baby in the Colourpop series that I'm doing at the moment to test out for you guys. So if you're interested in hearing all about the Yes Please palette by Colourpop, then just keep watching. So first up guys, let's talk about the packaging. How cute is this yellow outer sleeve? I actually wish that the palette itself would have been this color because I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so fun. I love it. So basically it just says yes please, has Colourpop, and then on the back it just has a list of all of the names as well. Now when you open it up, it just comes in this white kind of cardboard packaging and it just says cute AF on the front with Colourpop. I kind of wish that it would have just said yes please on the front of it. I know they're trying to be cool with like cute AF and stuff, but I just think it's a bit stupid. Just have Colourpop Yes Please on the front because that's what the palette's called. And on the back it just has a list of all of the shades as well. It does say yes please on the back, but I mean just put it on the front. It just does not make any sense. So when you open up, this is what the palette looks like. It comes with 8 matte shades and 4 kind of shimmery or foiled shades if you will. All the shades, as you can tell, are very warm toned. This is a very warm toned palette. If that's not your jam, then you're probably not going to like this palette. It basically screams autumn and fall time to me. So as we are heading into kind of fall and autumn in Australia, I'm so looking forward to digging this one out. They're all kind of wearable neutral shades. Sometimes I feel like maybe Mischief, which is this one in the back corner, can look a little bit intimidating, but I've just used it today on the kind of outer edges of this kind of cut crease smoky eye, and it just adds a little bit of yellow without being like wham in your face. So I love that they've popped that in there. Now if you are a warm toned girl, you're probably going to really love this palette just because of the color scheme. I myself am digging it. I feel like it's a really good addition to my collection. I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, but that's very berry toned but warm. This is more kind of orange based warm toned, if you know what I mean. The pans are, as with any kind of Colourpop kind of little palette like these ones, they are smaller than your kind of original MAC or Makeup Geek or Morphe eyeshadow, just so you are aware. This one retails for $16 US. Shipping for these ones are well more affordable than Morphe, for example. Also sometimes you can qualify for free shipping for international customers, which is great. Fantastic. I love it when companies cater for us international purchases because shipping can be such a bitch, I swear. Now I do want to mention about the packaging. As you can see here, it being white, I've already started to kind of get it a little bit dirty around the sides here. The palette itself is looking already a little bit manky around the outsides of the palette. There is fallout with this palette, so the palette itself can get a little bit messy. This is only the first time I've used the palette, and as you can see there's kind of bleeding around the edges as well. So just something to keep in mind if you are finicky with that kind of thing and like to keep palettes clean. This one isn't really going to be the cleanest palette, I don't think. So I'm just going to now jump in to the swatches of this palette so you guys can see what the colors look like swatched on my arm. A few of the shades are a little bit disappointing, but they seem to perform reasonably alright on the eyes. So I'll jump right into the swatches for you now. So this is the first shade from the palette. This is Full Zip. You can't really tell because I'm so fair, it kind of matches my skin tone. The next shade we have is Big Cocktails. The next shade is Champs. The next shade is Bling. The shade is Louie. The shade is Buttercake. The shade is Spoiled. The shade is G&O. The shade is Mischief. The shade is Note to Self. This is Chauffeur. And then last is French Kiss. And that's actually really pigmented. I'm just going in again with Spoiled to see if we can get a little bit more pigmentation of that one. So second swipe for that. So now you've had a chance to have a look at the swatches. We're going to jump into the demo portion so you can see this kind of eye look that I've created. Just want to mention straight off the bat, the matte mid-tone shades blended really, really well. Dark brown, which is called French Kiss, which is this one here. I did have a little bit of trouble blending out. It wasn't impossible, but it wasn't as smooth and seamless as some of the lighter kind of mid-tone orange colors that I used in my crease. The shimmer shadows are a little bit chunky, especially when you use them with a bit of MAC Fix Plus. I'll zoom you in so you can have a quick look. The shades are looking a little bit chunky and textured on the eyelid. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not as smooth as some of my kind of higher end eyeshadows. I'm just gonna pull my lash down here so as you can see, they just look a little bit kind of textured on the lid itself, which I mean, I don't think it looks terrible and it's not super noticeable, but it's definitely something to keep in mind if you really hate that a little bit more textured look to your eyeshadows. So yeah, let's just jump right into the eyeshadow demo portion of this video. Okay guys, so to start off this look, I'm going to be taking Full Zip, which is this shade just here, just on a large fluffy brush. So I'm going to be applying this all over the lid to just kind of set everything down and also creates a nice base to begin the eyeshadow look. Next up, I'm going to go in with Champs, which is this one here. It's kind of like a light peachy kind of color, and I'm just going to begin to blend that in throughout our crease as our initial kind of transition shade. So I'm just building up that shade until I have the desired intensity that I want. I'm actually blowing it up quite high up towards my kind of brow bone area as well. The next shade I'm going to be taking is Big Cocktails, and I'm just going to be taking that on a slightly more tapered blending brush. There is quite a little bit of kickback with this shadow as well, so just be careful. And the brush does come off with a lot of product on it, so make sure you tap off that excess as well. And I'm just going to begin to work that shade into the crease. And once that colour's down, I'm just going back in with that original blending brush just to buff out the edges to make sure there's no harsh lines. Next up, I'm going to take the shade G and O here, which is a very warm orangey, deeper orange kind of shade. And I'm just going to begin to focus this again throughout the crease. The shade's really pigmented, so just be careful. I'm bringing the shade right in throughout the inner crease here because I am going to do a cut crease today, and I want this kind of pigment to be right down in this inner corner area, so the cut when we do it is actually quite prominent. So I am bringing this quite high up as well. Although this colour is super pigmented, and I probably went in a little bit heavy-handed to begin with, it's blending out really quite easily as well, so that is great. Now, if you don't have as much kind of upper lid space here to play with, I would focus this a little bit more towards your crease, but when I do my cut crease, I like to bring my cut crease up a little bit higher, so I need to make sure that I've got enough pigment in this kind of area here, otherwise that cut crease like isn't even going to show up. So depending on your eye shape, you may just want to focus this a little bit lower down, but for me, I need to focus it quite high up in this area here. Next up, I'm going to be going in with French Kiss, which is this dark brown shade here to kind of deepen up the outer crease area. This shade's really pigmented, so be sparing with it. Next up, we're going into Note to Self, and we're just going to use that to help blend out that French Kiss shade a little bit more. Okay guys, we've moved into voiceover mode because my camera started making this weird buzzing noise and like screwed up all of my footage, but anyway, we're going in with G and O, and we're just going to be placing that in throughout the crease to help define it a little bit more and add a little bit more of that kind of russet hue to the look. It will just deepen it up. It's a slightly more deeper shade than Big Cocktails. So then after that, we're going in with Spoiled, and we're going to be taking that again just on a fluffy brush, and we're just adding that in throughout kind of the mid to inner kind of portion of the eye. This is a really beautiful kind of red shade. It's nice and matte, and I love how this kind of just amped up the oranges within the look and just kind of put in that little bit of a red hue, which I really liked. Then we're going to go back into French Kiss, and guys, I had a little bit of trouble blending this one out. I just wanted to deepen up the crease a little bit more, but I did notice that there was a little bit of skipping when I tried to kind of blend it in throughout the crease, as you can see there. Just a little bit of skipping. Then we're going to be going into Mischief, and I'm just going to be placing this right on that kind of outer perimeter of this whole look. You can see it just adds this nice kind of sunset vibe to the look. I love how it turned out. Now we're going to go back into normal mode with no voiceover because my camera decided to fix itself, so yay! So now I've got the crease, I'm going to be going in with Buttercake, and it's going to be going on the inner kind of portion of the lid. Whoa, that's so pigmented. I'm going to spritz my brush with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus though, just to see if we can get it a little bit more foiled. Oh yeah, there we go. Next shade I'm going to be taking is Louie, which is this one here. I'm just going to place that next to Buttercake. Next up, I'm going to go back in with Note to Self, and I'm just going to use that to blend out the outer corner a little bit more, to blend in with those shimmery lid colours. Now I'm going to move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to actually start off with the Mischief colour, which is just that bright yellow shade. And I'm just going to place that along the lower lash line. I want to keep the lower lash line quite bright. I don't want to be going in and making it too dark or too red. With that same brush, I'm just going in with Note to Self. I'm just going to pop a little bit of G and O as well. And lastly, I'm just popping in the tiniest little bit of French Kiss right on that outer lower lash line. For our waterline, I'm just going in with a nude pencil to really open up the eyes. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of mascara and some lashes. These are the Socialize Vixen lashes. I'm going to apply those and I'll be right back. So now I've got my lashes and mascara on. I'm going to be moving on to highlight. I'm going to be taking the shades Glad You Came and On the Loose from the Colourpop in Nude Endo highlighting palette. I've done a review on this palette which will be up, and I will link it up in the card up here if you wanted to check it out, but I'm going to be using those two shades to highlight today. What I like to do when applying my highlight is spritzing my face with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus. I really just focus it on these kind of outer sections here, just where the highlight's going to be going, because I am an oily skin type, and spraying a little bit too much of this can make my oils come through a lot quicker than usual. So I'm just going to focus it on the sides of my face, just where the highlight's actually going to be going. So while I'm waiting for the MAC Fix Plus just to set a little bit, I'm going to just finish highlighting my kind of eye area. I'm just going to be taking a mixture of those two shades I mentioned earlier just on the inner corners. So now that the MAC Fix Plus is kind of set down on my skin, I'm just taking a mixture of Glad You Came and On the Loose just on a Morphe R3 brush, and I'm just going to begin applying that to the tops of my cheekbone. I'm also going to highlight the tip of my nose and just directly down the center of the nose too. And then on my cupid's bow as well. Once highlight's done, I'm going to be going in with my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer, and I'm just going to begin to kind of bronze up and sculpt my face. Then for a little bit of extra warmth, I'm just going in with my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Luminous Bronze Light Bronzer, and I'm just going to touch that on the top parts of my face, so basically where the highlight is, bring it down a little bit, and then on the perimeters of my forehead here, just to warm it up. We've got quite a warm look going on, and the Park Avenue Princess bronzer is quite cool toned, so I just want to add a little bit of warmth to help kind of match in the eyes. Next up for blush, I'm going in with Tarte's Partey blush, and I'm just going to be lightly place that on the apples of my cheek here. I'm just going to use the sides as well just to blend in a bit of that highlight up towards the temple here. For lips, because everything's a bit crazy and full on with the eyes, I'm just going to keep it really nude. I'm going in with Anastasia Beverly Hills Stripped Liquid Lipstick. And then just in the center, I'm going to apply this lipstick from Rimmel, just for a little bit more of a lighter pink ombre effect. A bit creamier as well. And then last, of course, my Rimmel lip gloss. This is the Oh My Gosh lip gloss in Per Glossy Cat. I'm just going to apply that over the top to kind of give a nice glossy sheen to the rest of the look. And then guys, this is the finished look. So guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. All in all, I'm really impressed with Colourpop eyeshadows. Like I said, I've tried the Give It To Me Straight palette and I love that one as well. I think I prefer maybe the color tone of this one a little bit more. I love this kind of really rich, warm shades. I'm really happy with the quality of this one, especially for $16. I don't think you can go wrong. This is probably definitely one of the cheapest palettes that I own, and definitely for the price point, the quality is pretty damn good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave me a big like, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new so don't miss out on any of my new videos. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the week, and I'll see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye guys.